Well, thank you everybody for coming to our workshop today. We are going to be talking about time management and mastering time for operational excellence and freeing up some time so that we can grow and scale our businesses. So, really, really important when we are in business for ourselves and or when we are working for someone else to have operations plans, to be able to have a guide of what direction we're going in so that we can make the most use of our time. So, a little bit about me. I worked in corporate for 25 plus years. I have experience in the janitorial industry, the kitchen and bath manufacturing industry, and a few other things along the way. A lot of what I've done has been in the operations world, but I've done it all from entry level filing to being on the road selling to managing, and I've been in business for myself for almost 5 years. And I evolved in my business. I started out working as a virtual assistant around COVID. It was a great opportunity for me to leave corporate and go into business for myself. And I've pivoted to the role I am in right now, which is where I plan on staying, fractional operations management. So I'm very passionate about operations and I'm very passionate about working with entrepreneurs and leaders to help them grow and thrive in their role and in their business. So one of the takeaways you're going to have today is this operations plan that has a little Excel formula in it, so don't be intimidated. It's the operations plan template, which was a game changer for me in my business, I have to tell you. And that's why I need to share it with you. And we're gonna explain it, but it's gonna basically show you where you're spending your time right now so you can determine what is it that you need to pass on to someone else, or what is it that you need to streamline, or maybe you need to bring in some additional help or even fractional help, part-time help to help you with what it is in your business. All right, so leveraging expertise and professionalism, you all have gifts, you all have things that you're awesome at, right? And that's where you want to be spending your time. Let's just be honest with each other. That's where you want to be spending your time. So, with that being said, do you have a business strategy? What are the business goals, whether it's your business or someone else that you're working for? What are their goals? And maybe the goals that they had 5, 10, 25 years ago are very different than the goals they have today. But knowing what those are and kind of putting them out for the team to understand what they are kind of makes everybody part of that solution and part of that planning and excitement. How are you handling projects right now? Do you have a project manager? Are you a single solopreneur and you're doing everything yourself? And who's your ideal client, right? Who are you marketing to? Who are you trying to get in front of? And are you resonating with them? Are you speaking their language? So in the chat, I would love it if you would put in there which business owner or manager are you? Okay. Are you A, wearing many hats in your business or in the business with little or no time for anything, kind of working solo? B, do you have a stack of work that needs to be done, but it all requires research and you just don't have someone that you can delegate to? C, you know what you have to do, you just don't know how you're going to get there. Or D, all of the above. So, okay, we've got someone saying D. And don't listen, there's no judgment here. This is just so we can all kind of see where everybody's at. And it's okay. It's okay to be a D. And if you are a D, maybe let us know. Are you working for corporate or are you entrepreneur, solopreneur? And we'll just give everybody a second to kind of put that in the chat if you can. So in business, there's 6 areas of operations that we can look at to enhance efficiency. And one of them, of course, is business strategy. If you don't have a strategy, if you don't have a roadmap, if you don't have the GPS to guide you where you need to go, you may end up with a lot of twists and turns and getting lost along the way. So it's important to have that business strategy focus. Then, of course, you've got operations management, which is in my idea, my world, operations management is everything. It's how the wheels on the bus turn. Project management is definitely an important area because projects tend to bog us down, and projects don't always make the deadlines because we don't have the luxury of dedicating time to them all the time. So, how are you handling your projects? Administrative support. Do you have support? Do you have someone that you can rely on to help you through all of the operations? Sales management and marketing management. And a lot of times with sales and marketing management, unfortunately, they're not married. They're not partners with each other. They're not supportive of each other. Sales is usually over here and marketing is over here where they really need to be together and supportive of each other. So these are the areas that really we should be focusing on to improve the operations management of our business. So did I skip a slide? Streamlining operations to enhance efficiency. So with operations management, streamlining operations to optimize the processes and having standard operating procedures. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and even just managers, we don't have the SOPs in place to take someone else through that process. And I operate in the event that if I were to drop off the face of the earth tomorrow, I have SOPs in place for every one of my processes, for every one of my clients, so that my husband can either keep the business going, sell the business, or he can dissolve it, right? But having that in place, SOPs, makes it so much easier when you want to grow your team because you already have the lay of the land done. And it helps them to be more empowered and feel really good that, oh, I have a recipe I can follow to make sure that this cake is going to come out the best it possibly can because someone's already done that work. So it's really important to have SOPs in place for all of your processes. Sales management. So sales management enhances by optimizing sales processes. Do you have a pipeline? What are you doing with that pipeline? Are you in front of your ideal client? Are you addressing the pains of the ideal client? Are you coming across as educational or salesy to your customers? And marketing definitely is hand in hand with that because with marketing, you have to develop strategies and optimize those campaigns so that you can resonate with your ideal client and get them to lean in and get them to want more from you. Get them to ask that question. Oh, I need that widget, or I need that service, or I need that vacation. I have to talk to this person. I need to get that taken care of in my business, so I need to talk to them. How are you going to market and what is your sales process? So with a business strategy, it helps to take a deep dive into the business as either a manager or owner, typically an owner operator business, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for corporate. But taking a deep dive into the goals of the business and setting up that clear roadmap, like we said. And this session will provide a little bit of a direction that you would need to go in order to achieve that vision. And with project management, there are tools out there that can be used to help us with project management. And the one I use is Asana, Asana. It is a game changer for me because if I didn't have it, I would have multiple pieces of paper scattered all over the place, notebooks with to-do lists a mile long, and I would be so overwhelmed. So project management, I streamline it into an app and it really makes my life easier. And then admin support, they help with implementing the tasks and the things that I don't have to do, the things that I shouldn't be spending my time on. And this brings us into focusing on core business activities like effective time management. Having effective time management, knowing where we're spending our time, is going to help us to grow and scale our business. And this is just a case study. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but a growing marketing agency had 5 employees and they were struggling to scale due to their poor time management and inefficient operation processes. So the owner ended up spending most of the time doing the day-to-day tasks, and basically everything went amok. And they were not able to grow because the owner shouldn't be doing those things. The owner should be in front of their customers. So if you have a team of people, or even if you're by yourself and you're spending time in areas that are not the reason why you went into business in the first place, or not the reason why you took on this management role in the first place, that's where you need the operations plan to be able to formulate where you should be spending your time, and there's a cost associated with this. And this is going to possibly blow you away. If you feel like you're blown away, put it in the chat because I just want to see what your reaction is going to be because I can't see everybody. But give a scenario, okay? You all have a gift. You all have something that you do that you love to do, which is why you're either in your role or owning a business right now. Let's say you make $100 per hour. And then you do the operations plan and you determine that you're spending 20 hours a week on things that you shouldn't be spending time on. Filing, email management, marketing, putting Canva posts together, going down these rabbit holes with these invitations to things, responding to different emails that are not generating any revenue. Well, if you take it and you multiply the 100 times 20, yeah, that's $2,000 a week that you're costing your business or costing the employer. And I guarantee you, if you have a conversation with the employer about this, they're going to be like, oh, well, I guess we can afford to get you some administrative support, or I guess we can afford to hire that virtual assistant, or I think we can afford to get those things off your plate because we can't afford to continuously pay you to do that. So yeah, it ends up calculating to like $96,000 a year. And that was the big aha moment for me when I was in business, when I started my business. I was like, oh, I can't afford a virtual assistant right now. There's no way, it's not in the budget, until I did this exercise. And then I said, I can't not afford to hire somebody, right? So I'm going to launch a poll right now, and I want everybody to kind of give me your thoughts. And I think you might be able to do multiple choices, multiple selections on here to select your biggest operational struggle right now. What is it that you feel you're struggling the most with? And if you need to pick one, you pick one, pick two, three, whatever you want to do. But definitely answer the poll and let me know where you're at. And this helps me to focus on specific areas during the rest of this workshop. Awesome. Okay, I think we almost have everybody. We need a few more people to do the poll. If you can, that would be great. So far, everybody's leaning on lack of a marketing process and lack of time. All right. Okay. Well, that seems to be the winner, chicken dinner, lack of marketing process and lack of time. And it's kind of like one of those things is like a catch 22. Well, if I had more time, maybe I'd be able to do the marketing. So definitely, thank you very much for doing that. I think it's important to know where the audience is at so that we know where to spend the rest of the time. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen so you can check out my new fancy slide I have up for you to see. And that's the operations plan. And you probably can't see it. Don't worry. I'm going to email it all to you. But how are you spending your time now? So it digs deep into the areas that you're spending your time in, and then it gives you calculations at the end. And you're going to be blown away. And I hope some of you share some of these results with me because I'd love to see how you're spending your time. So there's two different kinds of tasks that we do on a day-to-day basis. There's the non-value added tasks, the ones that do not generate any revenue for our business. They're things that are important, but they're not bringing in the money. And then the other is the value added tasks. That's where you all need to be. You all need to be in the value add category. So by tracking the non-value, that's where you're going to determine, okay, now I know where I'm spending my time. So this just goes through a list of all of the non-value added tasks like excessive email management, social media scrolling or engagement that's not tied to business goals, or doing tasks that fall outside of your expertise or your role. And I mean, I know multiple people are wearing multiple hats these days, especially in corporate, even as an entrepreneur. You wear multiple hats. And I'm not saying to go speak to your boss or decide that you're going to hire a whole team of people, but the proof's in the pudding. And if you can determine where you're spending your time, that's going to help you to have that conversation. And here is a list of the value added tasks like strategic planning and goal setting, and analyzing and improving your processes, and networking and representing the business at industry events. I'm in a networking group that I totally adore. It's a national networking group, and it's all business to business. And that's where I spend 1 hour a week. And it's worth its weight in gold to me because it gets me out there, even though I'm not physically out into the world, I'm behind a Zoom camera, but it gives me an opportunity to talk to other like-minded people who I can refer to and or get referrals from. So networking is huge. Go into those chamber events depending on what industry you're in, and getting yourself out there really helps. So in the chat, I would love it if you would tell me if you could wave a magic wand and there was one thing you could take off your plate so that you could spend more time in front of your customers, what would that be? And don't be shy. I mean, I will even think of something I could take off my plate. Let me see. Um, I think just email management right now. And I'm going to tell you, Microsoft just did an update, and we're not allowed, we're unable to take that email from the inbox and drag it into a folder. So I hope they come up with a fix for that. They're aware of it. I'm like, I can't believe this is like definitely taking me some time here. So now I have to right click and sort and go into a folder. So someone said social media and admin tasks, social media and admin. Um, Thank you. Take admin related work. Okay, definitely. Order fulfillment. I'd love to hear more about that, Julie. And if anybody, I just want to say this, if anybody wants to stay on after this webinar or connect with me after, my contact information is there, and you probably have it in your inbox anyway, but I'd love to chat more with you, maybe even do like a 15-minute virtual coffee and just talk to you a little bit more about some of the things that you're dealing with and how I might be able to help you. Thank you, Susie. Great feedback. Thank you very much, everybody. And marketing and admin support is definitely huge. So what helps us with that, right, is utilizing the latest tools and technologies. And sometimes when we're an entrepreneur or we're working for corporate, we may not get the exposure that we should be getting to learn all about those new tools are out there. And maybe we have a young teenager in the family, or maybe we have, friends that have teenagers, or even our friends that are saying, "Oh, did you hear about that new app that does this, that, and the other?" And sometimes you feel like you're living under a rock because everything's constantly changing. Well, I have to say, I use Canva. I use Asana. I use Opus Clip. I don't use Dripify anymore, and I'm actually going to take that out of there. But with Canva, it allows you to create all of your marketing content, images, verbiage, the whole 9 yards, and put it into a calendar so that you can plan it all out. And you don't have to post every single day. You can post 2 to 3 times a week, but being consistent is the key. And I have to say, I can spend 2 hours a week doing all of my social content and batching it out and being done with it. And I don't have, it's like set it and forget it. So there's ways we can manage our time with those things that we don't necessarily like to do or that we need to do. And this is just one of the tools. Canva is amazing to be able to do that. Improving your financial management. So having accurate bookkeeping, having good cash flow, having a CPA that you can go to on a quarterly basis and say, "Hey, check me out, see what I'm doing, what can I improve, how can I save money, can I deduct this, can I deduct that?" Maybe I'm not even set up as the right entity. Maybe I'm a sole proprietor and I need to be an S corporation, or maybe I need to be an LLC, or whatever the case may be. Reaching out to these people who are experts in what they do might help you to save time and money in the long run. So don't limit yourself to trying to do it all by yourself. Um, and I learned that too. I mean, I was a sole proprietor and then I went to become an S corporation. Enhancing your marketing and social media presence. Well, this is one of the things that's important to most of you. Enhance your online presence through effective social media management, possibly even placing ads. Ads, you can do Facebook ads relatively inexpensive, but test them out. Don't just put 50 bucks on it and forget about it. See what it is that you're advertising, making sure it's going in front of your audience. You can do the same thing on LinkedIn. Google ads are a lot more costly, but before you even think about doing a Google ad, make sure your website is set up and on Google. Um, and I have a bunch of resources of people that are awesome at all these things. If you need a referral or an introduction from anybody in any of the things I mentioned, please just send me an email. I'm happy to connect you with some wizards that I work with. Um, we want to increase client engagement, right? We want people to be interrupted in their daily thinking, and we want them to just jump in and answer our message or click like or share it or whatever. And these days it's very difficult to do. But I'm a big marketing person. I love it, and I love the commercials, although I wasn't impressed with many of the commercials at the Super Bowl. But one of the things I want to say, and maybe most of you have noticed this, you're sitting down on the sofa, going through whatever, reading, cooking, whatever, and all of a sudden you hear a song that comes on from like the 80s or the 90s on the TV, and you're like, and it's like you want to jump in front of the TV to see what is it? Is Def Leppard in concert right now? Like who, I don't want to miss this. And guess what? It's a commercial for like toothpaste, but it got you to interrupt your thinking and get you in front of the TV, which is what marketing is. So I want to summarize everything we've talked about. I know I've talked a lot, and I hope no one's sleeping. I want to recap growing and scaling your business and or working for corporate. Growing and scaling the business is about streamlining the operations. It's about saving money, which we don't want to pay you $100 an hour to do the filing and the social media batching, right? Using that cost savings for other valuable resources like bringing in an admin, adding those apps and monthly items to, Asana or Canva or whatever, maybe paying a higher wage to the support staff, having a CRM, which is a customer relationship management tool, contracting help when you need it, upgrading the equipment. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this. So I hope that you found this informative. I'm not going to run away. I'm here for a half hour more if anybody wants to stay on. My contact information is up here on the screen. I know that you all have a copy of my email address in your inbox, probably already. And I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you all for being here, and I'm going to open it up for if everybody wants to come